The secret government plan, dubbed Operation Rex 84, came into being at the confidential orders of President Ronald Reagan and authorized the setting up of at least 23 huge American concentration camps, or emergency detention centers, to be used in the case of a national emergency. Under the Rex 84 contingency, plans were developed for the arrest of suspected aliens, as well as troublesome homegrown elements considered potentially subversive, numbering in the tens of thousands. Although the national security decision directives that brought these camps into being have since been canceled, the concentration camps are said to still exist. Conspiracy classic. Black helicopters over America. Strike Force for the New World Order, Jim Keith. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I'd be remiss if I did not make some comments on the Lautenberg bill. That is to add the people on the terrorist no-fly list to people who are forbidden to purchase guns. First of all, the no-fly list is an unconstitutional piece of fucking shit. Okay? It's classified. You're not even allowed to know if you're on it. If you were to find out somehow that you were on it, you're not allowed to know why. No one can even question their being on the list. If somehow you were to find out that you were on the list by being denied a gun under this proposed legislation, or being denied the ability to fly, there's no way to appeal it. There's no way to fucking change it. There's no one to talk to in order to get it repealed, changed, or affected in any way. So you have an unconstitutional piece of shit fucking legislation already in place. That's the so-called no-fly list, which is filled with people who have no connection at all to any type of quote-unquote terrorist fucking activity on a list, denying them the ability to fly, and thus labeling them as a so-called terrorist or possible terrorist. For no fucking reason. A lot of these people are on this list simply because they share the same name as someone who may or may not be a fucking threat or a quote-unquote terrorist. And now they want to have this entire list put over into Attorney General Eric Holder's hands so that he can deny the people on the list the right to purchase a firearm. Just another example of a stealth attempt at gun control. And this, my friends, is the crux of the whole thing. In this country, we have certain rights, and those are the right of speech, the right to assemble, and the right to a redress of our grievances, and the right to own and use firearms. The only thing that is preventing tyranny in this country is the fact that a large portion of the population in this country are armed. The only thing that is keeping you from being dragged away to a fucking camp at the whim of the fucking government is the fact that so many of you have firearms and you can and will fight back. It is absolutely essential that you keep these rights, because the right of me to speak to you right now with the freedom of speech that I enjoy is enforced by the fact that there are people in this country who are armed and who are willing to fight to retain that freedom. Do not give that up. Do not allow any of these stealthy ways to increase gun control to be put into place. Now, I have to give Obama credit because he doesn't speak very much about gun control ever since he got into office as president. But his past as a senator and his work in the state of Illinois illustrates very perfectly where his stance is on gun control, and that is to take every gun off of everybody. And you must realize that this is the goal of the New World Order. This is the goal of any attempt at having a global government, because the only way for our sovereignty in the United States to be taken away, and the only way for our freedoms to be thoroughly fucking crushed, is to take away every gun so that there is no opposition whenever they move in to take over. It's as simple as that, people. That is the end result. That's the goal, and that's where they're headed. Do not, under any circumstances, let down your guard on any attempts to take away your guns. Tell Senator Lautenberg to go fuck himself, and tell everybody else who has a similar proposal to similarly go copulate with themselves. Keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, and make sure you oppose, kicking and fucking screaming, every attempt to expand gun control in this country, because it is another nail in the coffin of American freedoms. Simple as that. Thank you. Good night.